All right. Here we are. It's just us living beings. Please notice that there's a body sitting here. Please notice that it breathes. Let's notice that thoughts are part of the show. Pleasant thoughts, unpleasant thoughts. Liking and disliking are part of the show. We stepped onto this ride a few eye blinks ago as a sperm and an egg. It's like climbing onto the world's greatest roller coaster. We became participants in the school of life. I think I'll take this course. Human existence. Of course, I'll forget that I'm taking a course. But since I'm here, I might as well really pay attention. There are these appendages called arms and hands. What are the symptoms of life that are in them? The sensations. There are other appendages, feet, legs. What are the symptoms of life in them? And of course, we're not looking for a cognitive answer. We're looking for a direct experience of the life. Everywhere awareness touches, sensations co-arise. In the face, in the forehead, in the eyes. And we are part of the earth. We are inseparably part of the earth. Feel this next breath. We breathe in the out-breath of the trees, of the plankton, of all the green beings. We are part of them. They are us. There's something quite miraculous that we bring to the table, which is awareness. And a few eye blinks ago, the Buddha taught us to train this awareness. Why not be aware of in-breathing and out-breathing? Not as some rote exercise, but with a certain sense of awe. This body breathes. And each of these magnificent breaths has a beginning. It has a rising to fullness, a change of direction, a decline, and a vanishing. It has a lifetime, just as galaxies have a lifetime. As seasons have a coming and going. With this breath and awareness, we sit at the threshold of everything. At the beginning, we set a task for ourselves. I want to stay with the breath as much as I can. And a lot of the time we fail miserably. Then we learn to relax more and develop more mindfulness, and we begin to have some success, some concentration, some tranquility. We start perceiving our emotional patterns. We notice thoughts like self-hatred and resentment of others. We notice how the past and future, it dawns on us, it comes out of the blur, that all the stories of the past and all the fantasies of the future exist right now. It becomes clearer there's no such thing as the past. Not as a thing. We start suffering less and less. Right now, right here. We discover the mechanics of, I suffer because the mind wants something to be different. Dukkha, tanha, nibbana. Suffering, its cause and its end. And the path. At the beginning, practice is work. Practice is, I have to do this. This is my mental exercise. And then, over time, it becomes a sweetness. Oh, I get to sit for a while. How long can I have? And sometimes the mind is very concentrated. Other times it's quite dispersed. We become familiar with the 5 hindrances. The mind of lust, the mind of disliking, the mind of restlessness and agitation, sloth and torpor, and the mind of doubt. And we develop the enlightenment factors, mindfulness, curiosity, and so on. And then somehow, mysteriously, it becomes apparent that the whole show is happening by itself. And then we rest in the present moment. Sometimes lost in a thought story, other times crisply clear. At first we practice loving kindness and compassion. And then it becomes the only sensible way to live our lives. At first we practice for ourselves. I want some relief. And then we discover that ourselves is a process. It is the trees breathing us. And then we see ourselves everywhere. and we fall in love with the world. And this is all natural, like a peony coming up in the springtime. Looks like nothing much is happening. It's a hard little ball, and swarming with ants, and they eat off the wax. And then there's this peony. So we sit and we breathe. We sit and we rest back into the present moment. Wherever we discover tension and struggle, we relinquish it. Sometimes it seems like we're getting somewhere. Other times it seems like nothing's ever happened. But we sit on, we sit here now. And there is breathing in and breathing out. time and again, though it's always this time. It's always now. The trance state comes along and we're gone. We are a conditioned process unfolding with no mindfulness. And then, who knows how, mindfulness appears and suddenly there is wakefulness. Sometimes we get a little glimpse back over our shoulder of the dream we were just in. It's not necessary. But sometimes we can notice, oh, that was restlessness. Oh, that was lust. That was desire. That was fear. That was impatience. That was frightened self. And now there's a body sitting here breathing. There's pleasure in this body. There's displeasure. There's pain. So what? Each breath provides an invitation, a runway, a beacon. Be here and be alive. We are nature. We are nature peopling herself. We belong here. So many of us had family situations where it didn't seem like we were in the right family or where we really wanted. Our practice takes us far beneath that. Of course we belong here. We are life dancing as a human being. And so we can rest back into this moment and let breathing do its thing. We can rest back into this moment and let awareness do its awakening thing. the mind is extraordinarily important to us. It's who we think we are, actually. It has allowed us as a vulnerable, rather weak species to dominate the earth. Because we can imagine futures. We can coordinate our activity between people, between systems. Early on, we could hunt elephants and large game because we could plan. So when we stop being used by the unconscious mind and we start using it, one thing we can do is to cultivate love. Conjure up an image of some time when you felt very loved and loving in your life. Could have been with a person or a pet or a sunset or a river, a tree. When you knew you belonged and were cared for. Or maybe for some of us it's clearer when a time when maybe you were holding a baby and you really knew what love was. You'd do anything to protect this baby. You'd stay up all night again and again if need be. Or you'd sit with your dying parent or friend. You know what love is. So let's fire the synapses that are that. Let's remember that. And let's internally speak the great mantra a few times, I love you, with your name at the end. I love you. And what else is there that you long to hear? What else would you like to hear this morning from the most important voice in the world? How about, it's okay, you don't have to worry. Whatever it is, offer that to yourself. Let that tension in the gut or that tension in the jaw or wherever else it is in the forehead, just let it melt away. And now, let's, with this same capacity of creation, we could think a kind thought for a loved one. May this person be healed. May they live well. May they die well. And so to all beings. All beings, most of whom are lost in profound delusion. May all beings remember their true nature. May we all remember our true nature. And now bringing awareness to the body that sits here, that touches the chair. And perhaps forming the intention to take this mindfulness forward into life today, to remember to soften, to relax, to rest back into your true nature. And so noticing the body where it touches the chair, the life in the hands, the life of the face, the life of the eyes. Not an image, not a fantasy, the actual sensations of eyes. And then, as you're ready, make the intention to open the eyes and then perhaps be surprised what you see. Just be whatever it is, actually. May all beings everywhere share in the merits of our practice. And then, if our vision is clear, we get to see one another. Seeing. Oh, there you are. There I am in my form as you. I have a wonderfully profound video teaching for you this morning. I found it. I found it by accident, actually. So I'm going to see if I can do it. And is Jim still here? No, he had to go. Michael and Jessica, would you tell me if there's sound as soon as I start? Please. It's really much better with sound. Oh, before I show you, the first of the 5 hindrances is greed, wanting, and it's wanting. We all know it. It's sometimes it gets to white hot, but there's this sense: if I could just eat the world, if I could just have it, then I'd be complete. And I have a video of that mental state here. This is our dog Dobby several years ago. And let's see, I hope we can have sound.
Oh.
Is there sound?
Yeah.
Yes?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay, so here we go. Going back to the beginning. Go back. All right. And then it goes to slow motion. It goes on. I know that state. I know it really well. So, how to love ourselves. This is classic Black Lab behavior. We have a special dish for her that's got these deep little trenches that she has to lick the food out of. So, announcements. Jim and I begin this evening at 7 p.m., a 5-day, we're teaching a 5-day stay-at-home virtual intensive retreat. Some of you will be there, I know. If you didn't get to do this one, there will be another one in a couple of months, maybe 3 months. Please go to the website. Take a look at the other teachers. Doug Pullen's doing his introduction to meditation. He must have done it 20 times, maybe not that many, but it fills every time from all over the place, from his psychotherapy world and from here. If you've never done a really foundational course in what mindfulness is, that's a marvelous thing to do. And then he does another one on heart cultivation later, a few weeks later. Jim goes on with monotonous regularity on Monday nights. And Kendall teaches on Sunday nights and other times you can find. And I guess I should remember this one too. The BIMC really needs your financial support. If you are supported by this broadcast or by the other things you attend, then consider focusing some of your disposable income in that direction. And it will change your life. The practice of generosity changes lives. But also think about I do this, I really do this all the time myself, which is to allow yourself to be awed by what happens through PIMC. People come in the door confused, completely confused, strung out on this drug or that drug, and in relationships that are filled with awful things, and then they start practicing and their lives start becoming more orderly and everything improves. And sometimes it's people who've done therapy for 25 years and that without the practice of mindfulness, we still flounder around. So consider that to support the center. Monthly donations are really the most helpful. And then I wanted to tell you my itinerary today. At 9:30, I'm doing what's called the punch walkthrough. We don't punch each other. It used to be that they would make a list and then they would use a hole punch. So we're creating the punch list for the remaining aspects of the building that need attention. And the entire team will go through. The architect will be there, the engineer, two people from P&C Construction, myself, and the project manager. And we'll walk through as a group and find all the little tidbits. And there's a bunch. Some of them are very simple, and some of them are turning out to be a little more thorny. That happens. And then at 12 o'clock, I'll be meeting in the parking lot Elizabeth Anderson, who is the widow of Ron Nato. And it was Ron Nato and his cousin, I think, Ann Nato Campbell, who provided us with the extraordinary gift, which allowed us to do this amazing remodel we've done. And Ann and the team has created a plaque, which is about this big. I'll put a picture of it on the listserv. It's color printed on aluminum, apparently. And very elegant. Nothing Elizabeth does would be anything less than elegant. She's a very artful person. And so she's coming, and the company that created this plaque is sending an installer. So they're going to put it up on the wall in the living room. I'm glad they're doing it because you have to drill holes in concrete and getting it level and all that could be a little hairy. So that's happening. And then there was another thing too. I forget what it was. It's on my calendar. And then at 3 o'clock, I think it's 3 or 4 today, Jim and Kat and Trina and I are meeting to do the final prep and get all the things set for tonight. And then at 7 o'clock, we push off. Poof. So it's quite a big day at the center. Quite a big day. I'm glad. Oh, and for those of you that are on the listserv saw, I put up the pictures yesterday of taking the plastic off all the furniture in the Dharma hall and off the Buddha. And that was, I'm going to show you actually. I felt like a very symbolic moment to me. Pete, the superintendent of the project, was there to help. He's such a strong, amazing guy. So here, I'm going to show you this. Share, boom. So this was yesterday at 2:00. And it was pretty darn dusty, all this. And this has been very carefully vacuumed by P&C. We have a carpet cleaner coming in next week. So this was like this, and then a few minutes later, and this was the other direction, toward the Buddha. And then a few minutes later, it was this. There's all this, these go to the living room, and much of this furniture goes to the offices downstairs. And then here's the Buddha has emerged. There's a lot of stuff to put away, but it's quite doable. So, that's my news from Lake Wobegon story.
Hey, Robert.
I hear a voice.
Sandra.
Sandra, hi.
Hey, when you say the listserv, what is that? Is that the same as the digest?
The digest comes on. There's an email list that I think you're on if you're mentioning the digest, and if you send an email to it, it goes to everybody, and so we call it connections. So if you're on the connections list, you're getting. Did you get these pictures yesterday?
Weird things happens with the emails. Sometimes most of my PIMC stuff goes into the junk box. So then I got to go looking.
Oh, well, that's a setting.
But every once in a while I go and look.
If you go to your junk box and click on 2 or 3 of them and say not junk, it'll stop sending that to the junk box.
Okay, well, that'd be helpful.
Yeah.
But so again, listserv is the same as digest?
Well,
or it's different?
The digest is a particular email that goes out on the connections email list.
Okay.
That makes sense?
So there's a master list, and stuff gets sent out, and sometimes it's called connections, and sometimes it's called digest.
No, the list is called, it's connections at portlandinsight.org. That's the channel that it is. And then I send out emails, and Gregory sends out emails. Gregory and Molly send out the digest on the connections listserv.
Okay, then I must not get that, because I don't get that many emails. I just get the digest.
Oh, there's another, you're right. There's another list, which is the announcement list from PIMC. And that has fewer emails, but it's much less complete. So here's what I would suggest, please. Send me an email. Send an email to Avi at portlandinsight.org.
Okay, well, so there's another one. You recommended that many times. How do you spell Avi?
AVI.
Okay.
He's our administrative person, Avi at portlandinsight.org, and ask him to put you on the connections list.
Okay. Sorry to be so confused, but I've listened to you say this many times, and every time I think, oh, what is he talking about?
Right. Well, you know why you're confused? Because it's confusing as hell. I think.
Sorry about that. Okay, thank you for the
and you probably helped 10 people on this screen.
I hope so.
Thanks, Sandra. So, anybody have anything you'd like to share on this morning? Good morning, Cricket. Nice to see you here.
Good morning. Glad I could make it.
Yeah, me too. Haven't seen you in quite a while.
Well, it's been difficult with the situation here.
Yeah.
On Sundays, I don't have a caregiver till noon, so that means I'm not able to join on Sundays. And sometimes during the week, it's not possible either. But I was able to this morning, so that's wonderful.
I'm glad to see you. Cricket is our esteemed bookkeeper and sanity bringer to that realm. She's also quite illuminating at times. One can be quite ignorant of other people's realities. Quite recently, it became possible to put new carpet and paint the community office where Avi works. And I saw the shortest way to that line was do it now. Unfortunately, I had no idea that it was the end of year and all the financial stuff that has to be done at the end of the year. And Cricket was very sweet when she told me that I could have picked a better time. and we could have delayed a week easy, but I just didn't know. So, mea culpa, mea culpa, mea culpa.
We survived. It just means that tax letters may be out just a little bit late, but we'll get there.
We will. Yeah, if you made any contributions to PIMC during the last year, Cricket is centrally responsible for getting out those letters, and they come to you so you can report them to the IRS. Our friends at the Internal Revenue Service. Despite the fact that Jim and I will be away, the Sunday morning and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday morning gatherings will happen. The other teachers at PIMC will be filling in. So do attend. You get a chance to see something different. Do you mind sharing the poem source? What poems? Which poem source? I don't know the second poem source at all. The first poem was Thich Nhat Hanh. I could put them in the chat, I suppose. Let me see if I can do that easily.
Thank you.
Oh, here's this one. Copy this, chat, everyone, boom, boom. And then the Thich Nhat Hanh one. Isn't it remarkable that we can access, when it works, of course, we can access information like this. Poetry. Oh, that's not it. Aha. So I'm certainly open to anything anyone would like to share. it is. Here's that little Thich Nhat Hanh bit. I wonder how he's doing. I haven't heard anything in a long time. He had a bad stroke or something.
Robert, may I ask a
Yes.
question? This is just very broad, but and I understand if you don't have an answer or you can lead me to some reading or something, but how do I stop being afraid to the point that limit myself from doing great things?
I think that question is true for all of us. We've done things we've tried to do something and failed, or even as very small children we tried and we didn't get the support we needed to be able to be successful in graduated ways, and so we've taken in the belief that I can't do it, or it's and we approach life with a lot of fear, and I think that the short answer is, well, let's practice very deeply. When the fear is there, let's take it to our meditation seat and turn toward it and feel it very deeply. Let's bring the Buddha and Kuan Yin and lots of love into the part of us that's afraid. I know in my own life I've had great teachers and really fine therapists that I've gone, and I've had help again and again and again with what am I afraid of. So the short answer, I think, is turn toward it and love it. Love that part of yourself. Does that make any sense?
I have to figure out how to do that, to love it.
I know it's hard, isn't it? I keep threatening to offer a workshop called It Won't Leave Till You Love It. And there's truth in that. And love it doesn't mean, oh boy, I'd like another helping, please. It means, oh, this exists and I can bear it and I can open into it and I can find the love that's behind it. Yeah.
Thank you.
There's a beautiful John Denver song. Actually, the last song he wrote. Let's go. Oh, I can't. I just remember this one sign. I think it's quoted from elsewhere too. That love is letting go of fear. And let me do one other line through this, which would be, as our practice evolves and as we become more and more awake, and as we're less and less attached to the self-story we tell, when we discover that the self is really part of the universe, and that that ultimately there really is nothing to fear. That quote from whatever his name was this morning, that I don't know, it's too short, the deeper we go in our practice, the more secure we become in the world, because we realize there's no security. And things are always falling apart. Always. So how do we find peace in the middle of that? I think it's practice, practice, practice. Practice, develop community, have really loving friends, clean up our moral and ethical behavior, reduce our dependency upon our various addictions and compulsions, support one's community, and practice. I think I'm a great believer in practice, aren't I?
Robert.
It's Pamela.
It's Pamela.
Hi.
Are you there?
I'm here, yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. I have not been here for the last week or 2 weeks maybe, since Christmas at least, because my partner Kevin had a stroke
Uh,
on Christmas Day
uh,
when we were with his family. He's physically back to baseline, but his he was already pretty confused and impaired with his memory, and it's kind of wiped it out almost entirely. He can't remember more than a second. He can't remember. He has nothing gets written on the on that whiteboard
my.
of the brain. And so it's just been a really interesting, and so I've been exhausted a lot. I haven't shown up because that's one time when I can sleep,
right.
is when he's asleep. So but I have found the practice being incredibly supportive, even when I'm not showing up here, just because there's a foundation there. And so I just want to offer my gratitude to you and to the whole community for just being there and teaching me. So thank you.
Wow, what a big row to hoe this is.
Bigger than even just dementia.
Right. Right.
So,
Are you getting enough support? I mean, it's probably a silly question.
it's starting. After he was in the hospital for 5 days, and after he got out, then it was the day before New Year's Eve, and so we didn't have any home health or anything until Tuesday. But now they're coming, and it's slightly helpful, but he can't remember that people come, and so he's given homework to do while they're between visits, but he can't remember that he's supposed to do them. And at some point I can't be his therapist because I don't know. I think I need support now, because I don't want to fight with him on every task.
Is there any way that we could provide any support other than this? Would it help if people called you, or?
If people knew of groups or resources, or I'm still struggling with that and trying to find. I may have to start having somebody come and stay so I can get out. I can't leave him alone anymore at all, even to go for walks.
Right.
So that's been a challenge.
I'm going to interrupt
I live in
you.
Salem, and so that's a challenge.
It's not that you may need to have somebody come in. You must. Otherwise, you're going to go nuts.
Yes. Yeah. I haven't gone nuts yet, as far as I can tell, but there have been a few times when I thought I was close.
Well, and you haven't killed him yet either, which is also a good sign.
Would say that again?
Probably I shouldn't. You haven't killed him yet either, which is probably another very good sign.
It is a good sign, and it's been close a couple of times.
Yes. That's one of the reasons. There's a whole thing in the care world of caring for the caregiver, and if the caregiver is not adequately cared for, the whole system blows up.
And I've sort of been holding on by my fingernails this week because I knew, with all the holidays and getting things ramped back up, and so now my fingernails are wearing out. So
Well, I don't know how to say this strongly enough, but
pardon?
I'm not sure how to say this quite strongly enough, but I worked as a hospice social worker for several years, and I feel sad. Bah. And caregivers burn out really fast, and then the system really does fall apart, and then bad. It's awful. So it's not in the least weak to get up on the rooftop and start yelling, "Hey, I need more social services to get somebody in there."
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, even just the sanity of going for a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So if I know he's going to sleep in, I can go for a walk. Say when we finish here, I may go for a walk, although it's raining and blowing right now in Salem.
Right.
So. But when I don't show up, it's because I'm sleeping in.
Well, I'll stop marking you off as tardy and absent. You will no longer be penalized on your grade for absence.
I am grateful for this community, though.
Yeah, me too. Well, folks, I have a need to go and be at the center pretty soon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your sharing, Pamela. Did anyone here not participate in the listening to the Year of Magical Thinking? Who would like to? All right, if you'd like to, how to do this? Send an email to Kat, K-A-T, at portlandinsight.org and ask her to send you the link. Kat at portlandinsight.org. All right, my friends, let us sing our way home. May all beings receive all blessings, and I will be here once again in this electronic seat on Thursday morning next week. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Bhavatu Sabe Mangalam. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Have a lovely day, dear friends. Live long and prosper. May the force be with you and all those good things. Bye-bye. Thanks for coming this morning.